What's up, soul family? So this video is going to be about bullying and childhood traumas and building your self-esteem and knowing your self-worth. I was asked to make this video, but I know that we are all connected, and I'm hoping that this will reach more of you. So please like and please share to anybody who you feel like could hear this message. So when you were little, you were heavily bullied. Maybe you were different, maybe you were quiet, and maybe you were shy, a little timid. Like, I can totally relate to this, right? Like, I was always a shy kid. I was always timid. People always told me how quiet I was. Like, that still is like a pet peeve of mine, to hear that, that you're so quiet. Like, I'm not sure why I don't know why people say that to me, right? Like, they just want me to be loud. But I haven't heard that as much lately. Sometimes people would tell me to speak up, but yeah, so just being told who you are, right? Without like that didn't really resonate with me, that I was quiet, even though I knew that my voice was quiet. But I think I felt like there was so much noise in my head that, like, I didn't feel quote unquote quiet, right? So you may have been somebody who just, like, people picked on, um, 'cause people picked on you because you were different, and they just wanted you to be like them for whatever reason, right? Or maybe they wanted to be like you. For some reason, like, kids can't stand when somebody is different, right? And they just want to turn you into them so that they could feel normal, so that they could feel like they fit in with the crowd, right? Like, why is this one girl so quiet? Why does nothing bother her? How is she so peaceful, right? If you think about it, like, you actually were just very strong. And even though it felt like you were weak because people were constantly bringing you down, like, you are very strong and you are very special, and that's why people notice, right? Like, there's two types of quiet, right? There's the kind that nobody notices, and then there's a kind that everybody notices, that bothers people, right? But either way, if you're just quiet and you do your own thing, whether people notice it or not, like, that's a sign that you are special, you are gifted, and you're different, right? And there's a reason for that. Like, you have a purpose. You have a purpose. And the reason why you feel like you don't belong in this world, or like you hate it here, or you look sad in all your baby pictures, like every baby picture and every kid picture I have, I'm just like and I just did not want to be here. So I've said it before, but, like, I'll say it again, and that just means, like, you are not from this world. Like, you are an angel, right? And you were a broken angel, and that's why you were brought to earth to heal and to help others heal. So also, you've been here before. I don't know if you've ever met, like, a child who just blurts things out and just feels like they are wise beyond their years. It's because they've been here before. And like, if you are naturally talented at something, you could be a singer, you could be a piano player, but you have a natural gift and it's beautiful. And the reason why you're so natural at that gift is because you've been here before, and you've used to be a piano player, you used to be a singer, you used to be a writer, right? So you came back into this life and you had training already. Like, you remember those skills, right? Because people say that, like, oh, you're just naturally gifted, you're just born being able to sing, or you're just born being able to play the piano. Like, that doesn't even make sense, right? So, I mean, it makes sense to me, but I totally believe in that like, you have been here before, right? And you're wise because you were once an older person, right? You've lived a full life. And then the reason why you came back is because you still have more lessons to learn, right? Or you didn't learn the lessons that you were supposed to in your past life. That's why it's important to, like, learn the lessons that are presented to you now, because you don't want to come back again, right? You don't want to start all over, and you don't want to do it again. So I always joke and I say, like, don't block me. Like, I'm not trying to come back here again, right? But it's actually all up to me, right? Everything is in my control, and we create our own reality. So we shouldn't blame other people for blocking us. And I know it's easy to say, this person did that to me, so and so put me down, so and so did this to me, so and so is making it hard for me right now, right? But the truth is, you're making it hard for yourself, right? Because it's everything is your choice, right? How you receive that, like, information or that feedback is on you. You can let it affect you, you can let it break you, you can let it bring you down, but you also can just ignore it, and you cannot give it power, right? So though you were bullied when you were little, when you grow up, we have to, like, learn to manage that, right? A lot of people were bullied when they were little, but when we grow up, it shapes and molds us, right? And what it does to us is it gives us, like, low confidence, low self-esteem, and low self-worth, right? So you might be feeling like it's hard to stand up for people. It's hard to stand up to people. And you may be somebody who often is passive, a little passive, right? And sometimes people walk all over you. But today is the day that changes, right? Because I'm here to tell you that you are worthy, and you need to take up space. And it's okay to, like, stand up for yourself and be assertive and be comfortable in your own skin, right? Nobody, and I mean nobody, is worthy of taking your light, right? Like, you may have people literally, like, pushing you out of the way and being like, it's my time to shine, right? Even though you are on center stage, right? Like, people are literally coming up to stage and taking your seat and being like, no, it's my turn, it's my time to shine, right? When it's actually your time to shine. So shame on them, right? People are gonna be jerks, and people are gonna do things like that and be entitled, and they're just gonna walk all over you if you let them, right? People will take your kindness for weakness, like, all the time. But what you need to remember is that when you speak up and you show courage and you let those people know that, hey, like, I matter too, right? I can take up space, I can shine, and, like, I can be a positive light to others, right? Like, I do matter. Like, people will constantly take your kindness for weakness, and The reason for that is because they know that you're special, right? There's something about a peaceful person who's calm and quiet that people cannot stand, right? Like, it took me a really long time to figure out why people would always, like, low key hate on me, right? It's like, I feel like I just leave people alone and I just do my own thing. I mind my own business. Like, why would you ever want to mess with somebody like that who just only wants peace, right? Who never really gets mad, definitely not in public, like, who isn't bothered by anybody else's drama. Like, you would think people would want to leave people like that alone, right? But no, it's the opposite. It's like people just want, they want that, right? Like, I'm telling you that they want that, and they want to be able to have that power to be that peaceful, right? And you have that essence in you that's like very, very peaceful and very, very powerful. Don't let anybody tell you that quiet equals weak, because anybody can like make a scene, can cause drama, can be angry, like can throw a tantrum, whatever, right? Like, but it takes a lot of patience, a lot of discipline, and a lot of willpower to just remain calm, right? I'm Buddhist, so those of you who know anything about Buddhist teachings knows that like the ultimate power is to be unbothered, right? And that bothers like people, the shit out of people, right? Excuse my language. I try to not use profanity on here, but it really bothers people, like the fact that you are unbothered, right? And silence speaks louder than anything, right? But there's also a time where you need to stand up for yourself. So there's going to be times where you're tested, like where the universe is giving you a chance to stand up for yourself and tell the world that you do deserve to take up space, right? Like I said. So when somebody just bullies you, basically, like people are really bullying people as adults out here, right? And it's crazy. But when people do something to you that just gives you like a bad feeling in your gut and like your overall energy, like it just makes you sick, like you gotta stand up for yourself, right? And not only is it okay, but it's necessary, like, because that's self-love, right? You wouldn't let somebody do that to your friend, right? You wouldn't let your friend get just blatantly picked on in front of you. So you need to treat yourself with that same love and that same dignity, right? So next time when somebody does something shady to you, that's your opportunity, right? Don't see it as something is happening to me. Just see it as something is happening for me, because it's giving you the opportunity to stand up for yourself and build your self-confidence, right? Because practice makes perfect, and there's nothing that will make you more stronger than a real life situation, right? So when somebody is bullying you, like, let me give you an example, right? I shared this example with my friend, but I was at the pet store and there was a pretty long line, and there was an old man being mean to this really sweet pit bull, and he was yanking on her chain and just being really mean to her, just like verbally abusive to this poor dog. And everybody was just staring at him and nobody said anything. But I was second in line. He was two people. There was two people in front of me, and he was one of them. And finally, he said like, I think because people were looking at him, he said like she's like, this isn't even my dog. Like she's so bad. Blah blah blah. Right. But she was just being a dog. Like, she was really sweet. Everybody was petting her. And so I said, like, you still should be nice to her, right? And so he was embarrassed, like he didn't expect to be called out. I don't think this is somebody who gets called out very often, and he probably just does whatever he wants and he walks around like being a jerk, right? So he didn't expect that. And so he was humbled, and he just started acting differently, like right away. Like he started being nice to her, um, and then he left. And I was still bothered, and I felt like I should have called somebody to protect that dog. But the lady in front of me was like, "Thank you for saying something." And honestly, I felt like I should have said way more. But, I gave myself grace, and I guess I was just proud of myself for saying anything at all. Um, but it just is like a really good example of like how we behave as a society, right? We just sit back and watch people or animals or whatever like get abused and get mistreated, and nobody wants to speak up because they're scared of being judged, right? They're scared of like looking crazy, or I actually don't know, like nothing would have happened if other people said something besides like him realizing that he was wrong, right? But just know that when you speak up like that, you cause a ripple effect, and you affect more people than you know, because other people will remember this story, and that man will especially remember like that other people are always watching you. And hopefully, like, even if he never changes, he changed for that moment, right? And that dog got like a little bit of a break that day. But you just really never know how you affect people by how you show up in this world, right? And just remember, like, people are always watching you, and you are a role model to other people, whether you know it or not, right? Because there's always somebody who's looking for that light, right? And that light is you. So just remember to always show up for yourself the way that you would show up for the people that you love, your family, your friends, whoever it is, right? But when people bully you, it's because they're hurt, right? And misery loves company. As kids, obviously, they're not realizing why they're like acting out and why they're hurting other people, but they could just be having a miserable time themselves, and misery loves company. Those kids had low self-esteem themselves, right? And putting others down like made them feel better. So it's actually not about you at all, right? It's about them, and they're just like getting their rocks off by putting you down, right? I mean, I personally can't understand how putting somebody else down would make you feel better, right? Like, I personally don't ever feel that way, and I actually feel the opposite way, right? But sometimes our shadows are just so dark, like our trauma and our pain is just so deep that we want others to experience it too, right? We don't want to be alone, and we want others to feel the pain that we feel, so we inflict pain onto others in the form of bullying, right? So that's why you see like people do it as adults, right? Like, you are out here seeing old people bully people, and it's like, what is happening, right? How are you still doing this to people? But people do it and they don't even realize it, or they do and like they don't even care because they're old. Like, they think it's okay and they think they can do whatever they want. But whether they recognize it or not, like, obviously it's not okay. But for you, like, it's important to understand, like, put yourself in their shoes and have empathy for those who cause pain because they are hurt, right? Because we know hurt people, right? And yeah, some people just hurt people in ways that they don't even realize, and they're just super destructive, in their everyday actions, right? Like, they don't even realize it. So just remember to have empathy for those people, because you will understand that it's not about you. And people are very, very selfish, and most of their actions are just for themselves. Like, it's self-serving, right? It's very rare that people will do something that is solely for you and to benefit you, right? There are people out there who are beautiful souls who will do things for you just for your benefit because they want you to be better, right? They do exist. And I am one of them. I am doing this for your benefit, and I want you to heal. Right? I want you to heal, and I love to do things for people just so they will feel better, they'll feel happy, and they'll feel good. Like, that's what fills my cup, right? So, but just know that when people hurt you, that it's not about you, and that again, you matter. So just remember to stand up for yourself, because nobody else will, right? Even when they do, it's not as empowering as when you stand up for yourself, right? You have to show yourself love. Like, the love that you give yourself is like no other. Nobody can love you the way that you can love yourself, because you know you best, right? And you really actually cannot love anybody else until you love yourself. And you might think you love yourself, but deep down, you know that there's a lot of healing that you need to do in order to fully love all those parts of yourself, right? But as different as you are, different is beautiful, right? Because look at the world that we live in. Like, do you really want to be like all these other people out here? If you think about it, like, different is good, right? And different is what makes you shine, right? So embrace being quiet. Embrace being like unique. And embrace the fact that you are like nobody else. Because if we were all the same, it would be super, super boring. And if we were all like one person, and that one person was just like annoying AF, like, imagine. There's like, everybody is just like robots, right? So we're all created differently because we all have something different to offer, right? We all have different roles. We all have different purposes in this world, and some of our purposes are the same, but most of us share something in common, and that is being able to share our experiences to help other people grow, right? However that may look. You sharing your story and not being silent will help other people grow, because I know, like, for a fact that you are not the only one experiencing this and feeling this, right? So, and this is why bullies bully, because they don't want to feel alone, right? They want to bring you down, and they want to know that, like, they are not different, and that they are not the only ones in pain, right? So I just lost my train of thought. But yeah, the point is that everybody wants to feel like accepted, right? So some people will just do weird things, like what seems to be weird and just doesn't make sense, to feel like to normalize their own behavior, right? So sometimes that means like bringing you down, bullying you, putting you down, just telling you that you're not enough. But that's how they actually feel about themselves, right? People want to feel like they're above you because they want that power, right? They think that power means putting others down, but it's actually the opposite. And you know that. You know that when other people shine, that it doesn't dim your light at all. That actually you want other people to shine because it motivates you to shine, right? But people who are living in their shadows and are just full of darkness, like they want to step on other people to for themselves to shine because they're actually not strong enough to shine on their own, right? So they're actually like dealing with a lot of their weaknesses, right? When they participate in that behavior. If you need to put somebody else down so that you can win, like that means you don't have the actual skill and the actual like willpower, the determination, whatever it is, like they don't have that. And it's like, think of like a job, right? Somebody wants to be the boss, so they're just gonna like step on everybody else. They're gonna like bring everybody down and lie and cheat and deceive to become the boss, right? To be on top. And they might make it to the top by doing all those negative things. But once they get there, they're not going to know how to do their job because they don't actually have the skill set, right? They didn't actually take the time to learn and to better themselves to actually be a boss, right? And all the while you are working your way up the right way, right? And you're learning the skills, you're working on you, and you're doing everything the right way to climb up that ladder and to earn your spot, right? So eventually the student becomes the teacher, right? And you become the boss, but you do it like in a legit way, right? So that's what people are scared of, is your authenticity, right? The fact that you got to where you are in an authentic way, and they did it like in a fake, inauthentic way, right? And they know that. People see that about you, and that's what scares them. So the reason why you get bullied and you get picked on and people are constantly trying to bring you down is because they see that power, right? They see that strength in you, that you are actually able to build yourself up and get to where you are and be as successful as you are and abundant as you are because you worked hard. And it's like your character and everything that has gotten you to where you are. And that is so, so powerful. I just want y'all to think about that for a moment and just to like remember that, right? Like your authenticity and is what gets you like where you are. And when I say that you are abundant and you have everything that you need, it's because you do. Like abundance is more than just money, right? Abundance is strength. Abundance is knowing who you are and like having that knowledge about the world and just having that strength, right? You are abundant in spirit. You have a beautiful soul, and it's because you have worked all your life just to be like a good, beautiful person. And that, my friend, is abundance, right? So just remember, you are already abundant. So wherever you're trying to go, whatever goals you're trying to reach, like you are already there. So you should always keep an abundant mindset. I will get money. I will be wealthy. I will continue to be abundant in all shapes and forms, right? So don't ever forget like how strong you are and what it actually means to be you on a daily basis, right? You know who you are inside, which is like why it's so confusing when you're like, why are people treating me this way when I know like how beautiful I am, right? And just remember, like, it doesn't matter like what other people think, because when you know who you are, it will shine. Like, you will cause a ripple effect, and other people will begin to see your power, and other people will begin to see your beauty, and you will become magnetic, right? You might notice that, like, sometimes when you enter a store or you enter a restaurant, nobody's there, right? But then after a few minutes, like, everybody shows up. And the reason for that is because you are magnetic and you radiate this energy that people want to be around, right? Once you step into this power, you're gonna realize and notice that like people are looking at you, like random people, like, who is that, right? And they're gonna see, because they see your aura and they see your strength. But that strength and that power causes a ripple effect and creates, like, triggers other people to want to be like you, right? And eventually people will slowly start gravitating towards you and learning from you and wanting to know, like, what is it that you're doing, right? How are you eluding this beautiful energy? So please, my friends, like, don't ever doubt yourself, and don't let anybody take away your self-worth, because every single person on this earth is valuable, right? And we all have a purpose. So do not let anybody dim your light, and remember that your perception of you and your knowing of yourself is the truth, right? Not what other people think of you, not the negative things that people think about you. Those things do not define you. What defines you is what you know about yourself, right? Which is that you are worthy and your voice matters. You are one person that can make a difference. It only takes one, right? Don't let anybody tell you differently, that one person cannot make a difference, because that is absolutely not true. Just think if all the great leaders in this world thought that they couldn't make a difference. Like, this world would be so sad, and like, if nobody ever thought that one person could make a difference, right? So remember that one person can, and that it starts with you, my friend. So remember to love yourself. Like, love yourself more than you love anybody, and always put yourself first. Don't treat yourself, if you wouldn't treat somebody you love a certain way, like, you wouldn't talk bad to your friend or your mom or your sister, like, you wouldn't say those things, those words to them, like, you can't do this, you're not capable of this, you're not good enough. If you wouldn't say those words to somebody you love, don't say those things to yourself, right? Again, like I always say, speak positive, and whatever you speak will come into existence, right? So remember your affirmations. Today's affirmations are going to be: I am worthy, I am enough, and I love myself, right? So I love y'all. Thank you.